So I bashed the Bears' third down efficiency last week, and I thought it was going to be a repeat of that this week. And nope, complete opposite. They were 56% on third down, and I mean, in the first half, they were just like every third down was converted. There was no, we clamped down in the second half, which was great. We were had 23%, which is just it's not acceptable, and it's not going to get the job done. And the Bears also won in terms of time of possession with nearly 35 minutes. And, a large chunk of that went on that final drive that they had where they just sucked the life out of the game clock, and left Daniel with only around 2 minutes to play with. So Jones was 25 of 40, 241 and an interception. This is I think the first time he's never thrown a touchdown. Jones is also one of 3 quarterbacks in the past 25 seasons with 25 or more passing touchdowns and 25 or more giveaways over their first 16 career games. Can you guess who the other 2 are? I'll take a minute. You take a moment, collect yourself, run through the old database. Brrr. All right, time's up. Peyton Manning and Matthew Stafford. Pretty elite company. Say what you will about Matthew Stafford, but he put some numbers. He might not be a winner, but is that completely on him? I don't know. Is Daniel Jones going to be the next Matthew Stafford? Oof. I kind of hope not. I mean, I think, Lions fans, I don't know many, and I haven't talked to many, but would you rather have Stafford or someone else? And I think I believe they would still like to have Stafford manning the wheel. So, Peyton Manning figured it out. He figured it out. 99, 2000. 98, he was just tossing interceptions left and right. 99, 2000, he was not. So and here's why I have faith in Daniel Jones and why everyone should have faith in Daniel Jones. Art Stapleton, Giants beat reporter, said the Giants quarterback coach, Jerry Skopinski, said this about Jones. I love coaching this guy. I love the way he competes. The guy is a tireless worker. I would say he works as hard, if not harder, than any young quarterback I've been around for sure, and close to any quarterback I've been around. So this is not a guy who is going to make mistakes and then not learn from them. It's just not in his DNA. It's not in his the fiber of his being. This is a guy that's going to study what's going on, work on it and work on it and work on it. And we've seen little improvements here and there, where there were a couple of plays where he drops back and he's not finding someone. And I'm saying to myself, throw the ball away, throw the ball away, throw the ball away. There were a couple of times where he did. And there were a couple of times where he has guys swatting his arms and he protected the ball. So I think last year you would have seen maybe 2 fumbles, maybe 2 interceptions. Now you're seeing 1 interception, 1 fumble. And eventually it's going to be 1 to 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions or fumbles. I don't, sure, there's a small, very small sliver, 1% of me, less than 1% of me that thinks that maybe he is a Jameis Winston type. And that I didn't watch enough Bucs games to know if that's accurate. I feel like that's not accurate, but that's what I'm seeing is like, holy shit, tons and tons of touchdowns, but it also comes with tons and, he's throwing 4 tutties, 4 picks, which you can't have. You just don't win a lot of ball games that way. I don't think that's the case. I certainly hope he's not. Matthew Stafford, I really want the best for him. I really do. And I want the Lions. I want the best for the Lions because their fan base deserves it. So Barkley had 4 carries for 28 yards before he tore his ACL. He's been placed on the IR. He's out for the rest of the season. That was deflating. I'm not going to lie. And I thought at that point, I was like, wow, is this about to turn into like a massive blowout? Like I had such high hopes. I was so certain of how we were going to play this game and how things were going to roll out. And it's like, are we reliving 2017 again when we had all our receivers just perish on the field? And no, that was not the case. By the way, you look at that play and I still can't fathom how the fuck he tore his ACL on that play. You watch it and it's like, first of all, they're on grass. They're not on artificial turf. So you can't use the turf as an excuse because that's when it usually happens. It's usually on artificial turf. And he didn't really make a sudden cut. He wasn't running like when I tore mine, and I know this, like you're comparing a fat ass to an elite, once in a lifetime generational talent, but I was running full steam ahead for 100% as fast as that is, which is not that quick, but still enough force going forward, and tried to make a cut while still going, as fast as I could forward. And I feel like you see that a lot where it's a guy trying to make a cut going fast forward, or making a cut, make a cut. He was not making a cut. He was running to his right, and he like was trying to stop. So he would plant his foot. And if you watch him plant his foot, there wasn't any bend or wobble or like it didn't look like anything snapped or popped, or it just looked like he planted his foot, and it wasn't like it buckled. It didn't look like the knee buckled at all. It's just, and especially with someone like Saquon, where it's like, I always had this thought in my head that when you tear your ACL, it's because the surrounding elements, what is around the ACL not strong enough to protect it. I mean, we're talking about fucking Saquads here. Like, the amount of muscle that he has around that ACL, it's like, I don't understand how that ACL could even think about tearing. But it can get anyone, apparently, at any time, at any place. The ACL. David Solo of Giants Alliance tweeted this out. According to the British Journal of Sports Medicine, 83% of elite athletes return to pre-injury form after ACL reconstruction. I cannot attest to that. Adrian Peterson and Jamal Charles are two running backs that played at an all-pro level after their ACL tears. And Barkley's only 23 and has plenty of football left. So I feel for the dude. I feel for him because he had kind of off year. He had the high ankle sprain or whatever that sidelined him for a few games last year. And to now miss all of 2020 after only a game and some change, it sucks. And, people were noting how he deleted all of his Instagram posts except for one, which is symbolic. It's just the Mamba, Kobe Bryant, his idol, one of his idols. And he that's to him, that's a signal to everyone else. Hey, I've got that Mamba mentality. And it's not a knock against the Giants. It's not him saying like he wants out of the organization or anything like that. I don't know how anyone can infer that or interpret that move as anything but that. And it's and he just wrote in an Instagram post, gonna be a hell of a story. And I think Joe Judge echoed that sentiment, just saying it's gonna be a hell of a story. I think everyone's saying that it's gonna be a hell of a story. You can pretty much put your fucking savings account on the futures prop bet of Saquon being the comeback player of the year next year. Absolutely. Put the goddamn farm on that bet because he's going to work his dick off and it's going to be night for the rest of the league next year. And that was the year that I really pointed to say, like, that's the year where we make a real push and where people take us seriously. People are starting to take us a little more seriously now because of the performance of our defense and special teams. And if our offense can just get on the same goddamn page, I think that we can at least threaten for the second wild card spot or that seventh playoff spot this year.